Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to our channel, where we explore thrilling tales and epic adventures. Today, we're diving into The Shadow of Gotham. Get ready for twists, turns, and heart-pounding action. But first, show your support by smashing that like button and subscribing. So let's uncover the mysteries of Batgirl's world together. Now let's get started. Batgirl Vol 2. Previously on Batgirl. In the shadowed alleys of Gotham, a chilling prologue unfolds as an elderly man is confronted by a mysterious figure seeking revenge for past misdeeds. As the tale unfolds, we're introduced to Barbara Gordon, as Batgirl, who battles against the notorious Brisby group to save a family held hostage. Meanwhile, Barbara grapples with the trauma inflicted by the Joker, which left her temporarily paralyzed. Barbara rushing into action when chaos erupts at the hospital, leading to a deadly confrontation with the enigmatic man in black. As Batgirl confronts her own demons, the line between heroism and culpability becomes increasingly blurred, setting the stage for a gripping saga of redemption and justice in the heart of Gotham City. Gotham City Hospital stood as a somber fortress under the dim city lights. Inside, Batgirl faced off against a shadowy figure known only as the Man in Black. The air crackled with tension as they squared off, but a sudden glint from the Man in Black's gun stopped Batgirl in her tracks. Paralyzed by a flood of memories, she was transported back to the fateful night when the Joker's bullet left her crippled for 3 agonizing years. Unable to shake off her trauma, Batgirl watched helplessly as the Man in Black turned his weapon on a police detective, silencing him forever. Detective McKenna, his partner, rushed to his side, but was quickly overpowered and wounded by the relentless assassin. The Man in Black's spree continued as he executed Theodore Rankin, the next target on his lethal list. Detective McKenna's anguished cries echoed through the hospital halls, her fury directed at Batgirl. As the Man in Black took out his grapnel gun, aimed it at a nearby rooftop, and fired. The rope shot out, anchoring securely. He swung out the window, disappearing into the night. "Batgirl, you are a murderer! Don't leave the room!" Detective McKenna screamed, clutching her injured side. But Batgirl, driven by a sense of duty and a desire for justice, responded, "Sorry, detective," before leaping through the window in pursuit of the fleeing assailant. The chase led them across the rooftops of Gotham City, the skyline a blur of shadows and neon lights. Batgirl, with her acrobatic prowess, closed the distance between them. With a calculated leap, she landed a powerful kick to the Man in Black, sending him over the edge of the building. He clung desperately to the ledge, his facade of invincibility shattered. "Help me! I surrender!" he cried out, his voice laced with panic. Batgirl hesitated but extended her hand, the hero within her unwilling to let even a villain fall to his death. But in a treacherous twist, the Man in Black seized her arm and yanked her off balance, sending her plummeting toward the ground. Reacting with lightning speed, Batgirl fired her grapnel gun, the rope catching a nearby building. Her descent slowed. She landed atop a taxi with a thud, but rolled to her feet, unyielding. The streets of Gotham blurred as she resumed her relentless pursuit. The image of the Man in Black's cold, calculating eyes seared into her mind. Back at Gotham City Hospital, chaos reigned in the wake of the Man in Black's attack. Medical staff scrambled to tend to the wounded, but Detective McKenna, overcome with grief for her fallen colleague, resisted their efforts to treat her injuries. Her anguished cries filled the air, her hands covered in blood as she pushed the medics away. Suddenly, a calm, authoritative voice cut through the turmoil. "Detective McKenna, calm down!" It was Commissioner James Gordon. His presence brought a semblance of order to the chaotic scene. He approached McKenna, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We will catch him. The police force will not rest until the man in black is brought to justice." Detective McKenna, her breathing ragged, nodded reluctantly. "Commissioner, Batgirl, she's back," she informed him, her voice a mix of relief and confusion. Commissioner Gordon's eyes widened in surprise. "Batgirl, are you sure?" But there was no time for further discussion. Meanwhile, the man in black made his way to Gotham City Cemetery, unaware that Batgirl was still in hot pursuit, her silhouette blending seamlessly with the shadows. The cemetery was a foreboding place, the tombstones standing like silent sentinels under the pale moonlight. The man in black entered the eerie grounds, his steps echoing in the stillness. "I feel your presence, Batgirl. Show yourself. Do you want to burn me?" he taunted, his voice dripping with menace. From the branches of a nearby tree, Batgirl launched herself at him, knocking him to the ground. She unleashed a flurry of blows, her fists a blur of motion. But the man in black was no ordinary foe. He countered with a brutal punch to her stomach, sending her staggering back. "You were mistaken to chase me, Batgirl," he sneered, his voice cold and mocking. Clutching her abdomen, Batgirl straightened, determination burning in her eyes. "That was all your strength, big boy?" she retorted, her voice laced with defiance. "Don't call me that. My name is Mirror," he corrected, a dark smile playing on his lips. With a dramatic flourish, he opened his cape, revealing an array of mirrors that reflected Batgirl's image in a dizzying display. "Batgirl, have you found your true face?" Batgirl's eyes narrowed. "You're just a psychopath like all the others," she shot back, her voice filled with disdain. She hurled a bat dart at him, but Mirror dodged effortlessly and lunged at her, wrapping his hands around her tightly and squeezing with crushing force. Batgirl struggled, her vision blurring, but she summoned her strength and delivered a sharp punch to his ribs. Mirror staggered, and Batgirl seized the moment to push him away. But Mirror was stronger, overpowering her and slamming her to the ground. She fell to her knees, gasping for breath, her body battered and bruised. "Maybe I can't beat you," Batgirl panted, "but I can outthink you." With a defiant glint in her eye, she pulled a folded article from her belt and tossed it to Mirror. "These are articles about obsession. It might help you." Mirror snatched the papers, his face twisting with anger. "I don't need these, and you haven't seen the truth yet, but you will soon." With that ominous promise, he vanished into the night, leaving Batgirl kneeling in the dirt, frustrated and in pain. Batgirl sat on her knees, her shoulders slumped in defeat. The weight of her failure pressed down on her, but deep inside, her resolve hardened. She wouldn't let Mirror's taunts break her spirit. The rest of the night was a grueling test of endurance for Barbara Gordon. Despite the searing pain from her battle wounds with Mirror, she managed to make her way back home. Each step was a struggle, but sheer determination propelled her forward. When she finally reached her apartment, her roommate Alicia was there, her concern immediately turning to alarm at the sight of Barbara's injuries. "Barbara, what happened to you?" Alicia's voice was filled with panic as she rushed to her friend's side. Before Barbara could muster a reply, her strength gave out, and she collapsed into Alicia's arms. Hours later, Barbara awoke in her bed, the room dimly lit by the morning sun. Alicia was sitting beside her, a worried frown etched on her face. She had carefully dressed Barbara's wounds, her hands stained with the effort of cleaning and bandaging them. "Barbara, what happened? Who did this to you?" Alicia demanded, her voice a mix of anger and concern. Barbara winced, both from the pain and the inevitable confrontation. I can't tell you right now, Alicia." Alicia's eyes flashed with anger. "Was it your boyfriend? Did he do this to you?" she snapped. "No, I promise you. It's not what you think, Barbara insisted, trying to sit up. I'll explain everything later, I swear. Alicia's fists clenched at her sides. If your boyfriend did this, tell me. I can't stand the thought of a man hurting a woman. I'll deal with him myself. Barbara shook her head vehemently. It wasn't him. Please just trust me on this. With a frustrated sigh, Alicia stood up. Fine, but you need to rest. You're not going anywhere until you're better. She moved toward the door, but paused when Barbara called out to her. Alicia, could I borrow a cute dress? I want to see Gregor tomorrow, Barbara asked, her voice soft. Alicia nodded, her expression softening slightly. All right, but promise me you'll be careful. She left the room, leaving Barbara to rest and recover. The next morning, Barbara donned the dress Alicia had lent her and met her boyfriend Gregor at a cozy restaurant. They spent a pleasant morning together, enjoying each other's company. Gregor's presence was a balm to Barbara's troubled mind. Later, they took a walk in the park, the serene surroundings a stark contrast to the turmoil inside Barbara. She opened up about the mental struggles she faced, the lingering effects of her paralysis, and her miraculous recovery. Sometimes I feel so lost, Gregor. I have these dark questions about myself and the world, and they haunt me. Gregor listened intently, his eyes filled with empathy. He took her hand, gently kissing her forehead. My dear, it's natural to seek answers to the unknown. You're incredibly smart, Barbara, and I know you'll find the answers you're looking for. Barbara looked into his eyes, finding solace in his unwavering support. Thank you, Gregor. Your belief in me means everything. As they walked hand in hand, the weight of Barbara's burden seemed a little lighter, her resolve to confront her inner demons growing stronger with Gregor by her side. The next morning, Barbara Gordon donned the Batgirl costume once again, her determination burning bright as she embarked on her investigation into the mirror's identity. Armed with the clues gleaned from her intense battle with the enigmatic villain, Batgirl pieced together a chilling revelation. The mirror's cryptic mention of fire and burns hinted at a tragic past, possibly a burn accident that claimed the lives of loved ones. With this hypothesis in mind, Batgirl delved into every available resource, scouring libraries, databases, and reports related to burn accidents. Hours of tireless research led her to a name: Jonathan Mills, a war hero and former federal agent who suffered the devastating loss of his wife and children in a fiery car accident. Convinced that she had uncovered the mirror's true identity, Batgirl wasted no time. She made her way to Jonathan Mills's house, her nerves on edge as she prepared to confront the dangerous adversary. Breaking through a window, Batgirl entered the darkened abode, her senses on high alert. As she cautiously explored the interior, she stumbled upon a chilling sight: an arsenal of guns and weapons, a grim testament to the mirror's intentions. Her suspicions confirmed, Batgirl braced herself for the inevitable confrontation. Suddenly, a video call from the mirror illuminated the monitor, his voice sending shivers down Batgirl's spine. Batgirl, welcome to my house. You will soon witness my show, he taunted. Unfazed, Batgirl squared her shoulders. I know who you are, Jonathan Mills. I know about your family, she countered, her voice steady despite the rising tension. Which Mills recounted the tragic tale of his loss, his family consumed by flames as he looked on helplessly. Mills's haunted gaze bore into Batgirl's soul. Miracles and being saved from disaster only bring pain and suffering, he declared, his words heavy with bitterness. I will exact revenge on anyone who survives such tragedies. Batgirl's heart sank as the mirror revealed his next target. Rupert Ansell, a man who had narrowly escaped from death once. Mills had planted a bomb on the train carrying Ansell, determined to ensure that this time there would be no miraculous escape. With the lives of innocent passengers hanging in the balance, Batgirl faced her greatest challenge yet. She had to stop the mirror and save Rupert Ansell and everyone else aboard the doomed train. As the episode drew to a close, the stage was set for a pulse-pounding showdown between Batgirl and the mirror. But the story was far from over, and the next installment promised even greater challenges and revelations in the dark and dangerous streets of Gotham City. Thank you so much, fearless adventurers, for embarking on today's thrilling journey through the mesmerizing world of Batgirl with us. Your enthusiasm and support mean the world to us, and we couldn't do this without you. If you've had as much fun as we have and want to keep the adventure going, don't forget to show some love by smashing that like button and subscribing to our channel. Together, we'll continue to uncover mysteries, defeat villains, and embark on epic quests. Until our next adventure, remember, stay curious, stay courageous, and never stop exploring.